Welcome! In this video, I'll be covering Chapter 3 from your textbook on practical considerations for buying decisions. Remember, as your job as the purchaser, everything you purchase and every action you take has a direct impact on the quality that your guests are going to expect and demand. Quality starts with the products that are purchased. If you don't purchase good products, they won't magically become good products. Your purchasing staff need to have the right tools so that you can purchase the right products that the staff can then produce the expected quality that your guests are going to want and again demand. Remember, purchasing is purchasing the right product at the right time from the right purveyor and at the right price. So your first question is always, who are our customers and what are their expectations? And remember that the quality level throughout the entire operation starts with you. While anyone can purchase food, you need to do it effectively and efficiently. Do it as quickly as you can as to not spend too much time, but yet you want to again be finding that right product, that right price from that right purveyor and again getting it at the right time. So first thing, knowing your customers, both your internal as well as your external customers, knowing who your owners and investors are and what they're looking to get as well. Quality isn't just for your guests, even though that is the number one thought that should be crossing your mind. The idea of perceived value is really taking on so much more than just the quality of the product alone or the price of the product alone. It really incorporates a lot. Is this the product you actually need? And is this a good price for that quality that you're getting? What kind of market forms is it coming in? Is it widely available in different forms in case one is not? How far away does it need to come from? Is this an imported product that there's going to be extra delays in transporting? Are there extra transporting fees? How is it packaged? Is it stored in the cooler versus the freezer versus dry storage room? What kind of shelf life are we talking about? Is the branding important? Every time you go to the grocery store, do you get the name brand? Or are you okay getting the generic brand of some of them? It will save you a significant amount of money. Again, it's not just the quality, but the quality is going to be that leading factor. What are your guests expecting? And that's the minimum quality you should start with. But when you're looking at items and deciding which to buy, you're looking at more than just that price. You're looking at the overall purchase value. We have talked before about the distribution system. Again, this is the path that products and services follow from their original source all the way to the end user, which is usually the food and beverage operation that's preparing it in order to serve it to their guests. So we talked about different forces that affected the distribution system before, the ethics behind it, and the credibility on being dependable and accountable and responsible, as well as the overall idea in purchasing now that we are ethical in our choice. If something says that it is a prime grade of steak, we cannot purchase a lower grade and pass it off as that. We'll get into that with our truth in menu laws. For economic forces, supply and demand is huge right now. I'm sure you've heard about in the state of Pennsylvania alone, let alone all throughout the country, the dairy farmers are really hurting in the idea that their supply is the same as it has been, only the demand with all these food and beverage operations closed has massively declined. So now they have an excess of products where, yes, they could lower the price to try and sell some more. However, it's a consumption issue now, and they're ending up throwing away a lot of their milk. I've seen a lot of other farmers having issues as far as overproducing now and that demand not being there. Again, there are legal forces as far as contracts, as well as a really another highlighted one right now in our current environment, political forces and global considerations. Right now, we don't have a choice. We can only offer takeout products or curbside for any of the restaurant operations, food and beverage operations in Pennsylvania. So that is something that it had a huge impact on not only what we were able to do in our own environment, but even our purchasing regulations. Most of our sales representatives have been furloughed at this point, and they are minimalizing the amount of employees they are keeping on just to fulfill the few orders for, again, those operations that are still providing takeout. Technology is another big one. if we didn't embrace technology before. With the purchase orders and all the other online ordering systems, now it's more important than ever. Everybody is using it, and everybody that doesn't have an online ordering system is quickly getting that established. Of course, there are other things as far as decrease in physical labor, deliveries, availability of products. How about even not something in here, but is the increase of minimum wage? That's something that's huge. To go from $9.50 to $12 an hour is $2.50 more cents every hour you're paying an employee, and that's only one employee. The only way to make up those funds is to raise the overall menu price, and that's going to affect, again, a lot of how many people will come out to eat, how much people will be willing to spend. I think in the beginning, everyone will be happy to spend and be going out and contributing. However, things are going to, after time, people aren't going to be willing to still be paying these prices. However, the costs are still going to be there as well. So there's a lot that affects how things are going through the distribution system, the cost analysis and the costing factors all the way throughout this entire operation of any food and beverage operation, especially with what's going on right now. So early in the semester, I went over what is a purchaser's role and really what is the purchasing process. So just to recap, the very first thing is to determine what our needs are for our food and beverage operation. What do our customers expect, and what do we need in order to provide them with those expectations? So we need to determine our quality. This is where the standard specifications come into play. We did our can cutting lab and determined what our specific product was that we were looking for. Then we need to select what distributors do we want to send all of our specifications for and allow them to come back to us with, here's what our pricing is that we're able to offer you. If there's any negotiations to be had at that point, you would be engulfed in that and then make a purchasing decision. Who do you want to purchase from? And that's not always one person. Sometimes it's, I'm going to get my seafood from John Gross. I'll get the bulk of my products from Cisco, but if I want special baked products, I'm going to go to Terranetti's. If I want, specialty baking ingredients and chocolates, I'm going to go to Albert Ooster Imports. So, it's not always just one, but you need to be able to find out what the pricing's like and then make the purchasing decision of where you're going to get what products from. Then you need to determine what quantity of products. And we'll talk about how this comes in various forms depending on the operation. Then you have to actually place the order, and it's not done. You still need to receive in the goods, store them, make sure that you have your inventories up to spec, and then go ahead and issue out your products. So something like getting a bar requisition for 8 bottles of wine. You go into the wine cellar, and here you have all 8 bottles. There's no vendor order, purchase order that you're creating here. This is just a matter of products moving in and out from your storage units to the different units throughout your operation. So that even is part of your process, is part of your analysis, even though there's no actual purchasing being done. And then at the end, of course, analyzing costs. You always need to analyze costs and see how good of a job you're doing. As a purchaser, are you staying within the budget? If not, why not? What can you explain what the discrepancy is? Always being able to analyze your costs and being able to see how well you're doing in the overall process is important. There's a lot of moving pieces to the purchaser's role. As a quick recap, you cannot necessarily just jump in the role of being a purchaser with absolutely no experience. Remember, you need to have education. You need to have education on how to purchase food and some math background, as well as experience in the actual industry that you're going to be working with, having business abilities and, like I said, that industry knowledge, as well as global awareness, what's going on and where products are coming from. You definitely need the technical skills as well as being able to communicate with others. You need to learn quickly, be able to do your research on the market. You need to be ethical and, again, making good choices, doing what any normal human being would do, doing the right thing. It is what ethics is all about. Hopefully having some negotiation skills so that you can get the best price. But, it would be nice to have some experience, again, working with a main distributor. So when you start as a purchaser, it's not your first day generally. Generally, you're going to have a lot more experience in the industry so that you're not learning what all of these products are from scratch. Instead, you have a good idea, and from there, we'll move on. So now, as an experienced purchaser, it's my first day on the job. First thing I need to do is determine what the quality requirements are. So again, I need to look and see what my customers are, who my customers are, and what their expectations are. If I'm a diner serving a breakfast versus a high-end fine dining restaurant serving the same Eggs Benedict, the price is going to be totally different. The quality of ingredients are going to be totally different. A chicken cordon bleu, again at a diner, might be a frozen piece of chicken that was already pre-stuffed and pre-breaded, versus going to the Hilton. Might have Gruyere cheese with prosciutto in it. It's going to be freshly breaded, pan-fried. The quality that you're expecting is going to be different. That's where, again, we did our can cutting lab. You analyzed and checked out a lot of different products and determined this is the exact product I want. So in that purchase specification form, here's the exact canned good I'm looking for, that fruit, that vegetable, whatever you were working with. And we send those out then to get the pricing quotes from the different distributors. Again, we're really analyzing what kind of quality we're looking for and making sure those are the only products that we're allowing in our purchase cart. By far, everyone's least favorite step is the cost analysis, but it's important to do a pre-cost analysis. Again, it's great to be able to find, here's all these different products, but it's not that easy. You're not going to always be handed a sheet that only has one choice on there for you. When you go to look for milk, for example, there are 50 to 80 different choices of just plain whole milk. It comes in a variety of different packaging. You need to be able to determine which milk do I want. If you get the ultra pasteurized milk that you're paying $40 for 2 gallons, your cost is going to be extremely high versus getting, a 4-gallon case for $16 of a Gallagher's brand. So you must predetermine what your costs are to make sure that you can stay within an established budget. That budget usually is going to be a food cost percentage, and that cost needs to cover all cost of goods for the entire operation over a certain period of time. So you will track these and pre-estimate the costs, and then you'll be able to actually compare them when you have those costs coming in the door. So how do you determine how much to buy? Well, in most of your assignments here, I have given you a requisition sheet. This is what this department is saying they need to order, or they need to have delivered to them. So the quantity is already given to you. You needed, 12 2-pound striped bass. You needed, 12 2-pound flank steaks. It was already predetermined. And your purchasing portfolio was another scenario to where here's an event we have coming up. Here are the recipes. We need to extend the recipes and then compile a food order. That food order could come from the chef. As a purchasing agent, you could be given those recipes and you have to adjust them or come up with those specific, the food order from that. So it just depends on the operation. But in general, how do you determine, in a restaurant, how many different portions of each item that you would be serving and to estimate what your production would be? Well, some will have forecasting that's based on historical data. This time last year, this day last year, I sold 10 of this dish, 20 of this dish, something along those lines. A lot of operations will do some menu analysis, really look at their menu and determine here are the most popular items and set par levels. On Wednesday through Saturday, we're going to do this much, prep this much of each item versus on the slower days, we'll only do this much. So it may already be an established level for you. Generally, though, you will always be working on a requisition order, an order of all of the ingredients that you need, and then you will have to determine the quantity that you actually need to purchase based on some other factors such as inventory and things that you have in-house. Sometimes the product availability could be difficult in that you may need 20 pounds and only 10 pounds are available. You'll need to know what these products are used for so that you know what substitutions you can make. I will continue then on with the next section in my next video. Thank you.